Gestating the Curious Minds involves adult themes and situations. Just a warning.
What's trap music?
Trap music, I think, is really shitty rap focused on a lavish lifestyle. But it's also incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible.
Do you know that song, Lifestyle?
No.
I'm going to perform.
Damn it.
How does the beat go? Give me a little something. That's too much. That's too much. Okay.
Is that good?
That's actually kind of what they sound like.
Oh, is it? I was joking.
Lifestyle. Lifestyle.
You got your little hands up like a little Tyrannosaurus when you're going, gah, gah, gah.
That's exactly what that song sounds like.
Okay. Well, that was bizarre.
I don't know if that's all of trap music. That's just what I think of whenever I hear trap music.
I've learned
that song
nothing.
in particular.
I always reference trap music.
We don't make any money. Could I play it?
What do you mean?
Or is that against copyright?
They would take down our episode if they ever discovered us, which they would never discover us.
Probably not.
None of this stays in the show. I'm getting rid of all of this. We'll start over. Hello, welcome back.
We're struggling over here, guys. Thanks for listening.
We started recording this about a week and a half ago, and we both were eating too much barbecue and got super sleepy, and we're not feeling it, and just decided to, we'll do it again later, and we waited a week and a half, and now we're doing it again.
We're doing it again.
We're going to finish this damn book, even if it takes us 6 more months.
It won't. We're finishing it.
We're going to finish it, then we've got to write it and do one more episode, which could be another 3 months from now.
We don't have to do one more episode. Today we are storyboarding the final chapter in the book.
True.
So the next episode we put out is just you reading the entire book.
I suppose. And then we could do sort of a retrospective on what it's been like to read books, or write books.
I guess we could. I don't think anyone really wants to hear from us what our process... Well, they see what our process is.
Yeah, it's horseshit. Okay. Well, what... you do your intro.
Welcome to Gestating the Curious Minds, where we delight in the mouthfeel of literature.
The mouthfeel.
It's creamy.
Oh, hold on.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I have an alarm.
Hi, friends. It's 8 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm. It was originally made for Vanderpump, but we'll get into that. Or do we have to do Vanderpump Corner right now?
We do have to... We can do Vanderpump Corner. Okay.
Here comes the music. There it is.
Oh, I feel it.
Yeah.
Wait, let me take a sip of my
Take a sip of your cocktail. And then prepare to, I don't know, push us all into the corner.
My fabulous husband's Glenn made me a cocktail, very fresh.
Real fresh.
It is vodka from a plastic bottle.
Yeah.
And a can of bubbly from Target. It is delicious.
It's your white trash's White Claw.
It is, out of Halloween mugs. Mm-hmm. It says, if you've got it, haunt it.
Mine says Gone Batty.
Oh, so sassy.
That's a lot of fun. I feel fun drinking from it. Yeah.
Right? We got these at Joann's Fabrics.
Joann's Fabrics?
Yeah.
There's no S at the end of Joann.
Yes, there is.
There is not.
Yes, it's Joann's Fabrics.
Where's my phone?
Anyway, while Glenn is proving me wrong,
Joann Fabrics. It has 2 N's.
Anyway, we wrote this story. We wrote this.
What are you giggling about?
Your face. When we originally storyboarded this, our main protagonist, Smithy, Bethany Smith, her driving factor is to live a life of crime, which we completed.
Nailed it.
We nailed it. Her fault is she smells like wet eggs. We nailed it.
Nailed it.
Antagonist is the bar and Tom York, but he's a rabbi. Nailed it. Our setting is Christmas 2021. We tweaked it a little bit, and made it out to be a Hanukkah heist.
Yep.
Because it is 8 chapters over 8 separate days, just like Hanukkah did.
We realized that we did not mention Hanukkah once in this book so far.
Just that we mentioned someone who is Jewish. And it's over 8 days. So we're really going to have to bring it all home in this final chapter.
I don't think we have to. I think that the book we've decided is going to be called The Hanukkah Heist, and it's over 8 days if they can't put it together themselves.
We could just never mention about Hanukkah. This could be an alternate reality in which this is the real story of Hanukkah.
Each day bringing a gift of some sort in the form of... Well, we still have to read the story, but there's a part I love. Do you want to get into the pump corner?
Oh.
Let's start the music. There it is.
Okay, here's the music back, dude. It is May 26th. So we have seen the finale of this season of Vanderpump Rules. We have seen part 1 of the reunion of Vanderpump Rules.
Of the 17-part reunion.
Yeah. My brain has been steeped in Vanderpump Rules news and gossip for coming up on 3 straight months.
Yeah, you've been nonstop.
Next week, it's going to be 3 months.
I have caught you, and I'm not saying this to be cute, I have literally been laying in bed next to you while you're on the phone and we're watching something on TV, and I look over and I can see that you're on Reddit and you're looking up Vanderpump shit.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's all
Your
day, every
obsession
day.
is complete.
It is all-encompassing. It is... I feel a little bit gypped, okay? Because... when the Vanderpump news broke, I had just gotten my bangs. And I was so ready for the bangs to be my new personality, and then Scandival happened.
Yeah.
And now that's my personality. And I feel like I really haven't gotten the chance to sit down and become intimate with my bangs.
And now it's Hosta season.
Oh, God, is it Hosta season? Oh, is it ever Hosta season?
I know. You don't have a chance to really form a real personality that someone can pinpoint.
No, because I'm too busy digging up and splitting hostas, planting them all over our yard.
People aren't even thinking about your bangs because you're muttering to yourself about Sandoval while you're splitting up hostas.
Yeah.
No one's even looking at your bangs.
No one's looking at my bangs. They're too busy looking at the shovel in my hands.
They're not trying to figure you out by your bangs. No. What kind of person is that? What does this person do in their free time? Instead, they're just muttering themselves while they're splitting hostas.
They know what I do in my free time. They know what I do.
Yes, debate. So, yeah, you got what you wanted. The man couldn't be more guilty. He spent an entire season trying to make his girlfriend look like she's not loving, which failed.
You say I got what I wanted as if I didn't want what everyone wants, which is justice.
Yeah, he's getting the justice. I mean,
I want what is right.
That reunion was just everyone yelling at him for a solid hour.
Yeah, and him and Raquel not caring. It's pretty incredible, honestly.
No, they are complete psychopaths. They don't feel anything. I love that he did start to cry, and the person I hate the most in the face of the earth, James.
DJ James Kennedy.
God, he's so fucking embarrassing. He was trying to make it all about himself. He did have one moment where he's like, "Oh, don't fucking cry. You're not crying." Yeah. And immediately Tom looked up and his eyes were totally fine. He looked over and goes, "Shut up, fuck you, man."
And he just stopped.
Yeah, instantly stopped.
Really
Didn't bother trying to go back to it or anything because he's a sociopath.
Yeah.
But after that, James was just making an ass out of himself, trying to make sure that the camera's on him, standing up, threatening to beat him up, and the host of the show has to tell him to sit down and stay in the fucking chair. You were liking him, but I cannot stand that guy with all my heart. James is... Ugh.
I love that James Kennedy stood up for Katie, stood up for Lala, he stood up for Ariana, he's standing up for the ladies this season. I have my feelings about him. He is a flawed person.
Didn't he once tell Katie that she looked pregnant?
Yes.
Yeah, and he usually was throwing drinks. He was one of the drink throwers in the beginning. He'd throw a lot of drinks at people's faces.
No, you're thinking of Tom Schwartz.
Well, it was definitely Tom Schwartz, that was his thing, but I thought he did it a few times.
No, he did throw a drink at the table with Katie, I think Katie and Stassi.
Yeah.
Maybe someone else when Lala was like, looks like no one's been working on their summer bodies. And DJ JK just kind of threw a drink, I think, at the table in general.
Oh.
Like, they're flawed people.
Oh, no, they're all
I'm
horrible
not saying that he's never done anything wrong.
He's just so twitchy and embarrassing, and his face looks weird. And I love that when he was yelling at Sandoval.
How they are when they have a united enemy. And that's why everyone's all fucked up over this. It's not just another cheating scandal on just another reality TV show.
Yeah.
They were putting a plan in motion to actually harm Ariana emotionally. Yeah. They already harmed her financially.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because she put so much of her own money into Tom's ventures. They have a second mortgage on the house, and she was saying, no, I won't be on the hook for that if he defaults. Of course you will, baby girl.
Yeah.
Like, you're not stupid. Why are you doing this? What's going on here? Anyway, she's not getting any money out of that house, so she's making that money elsewhere. I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
Tom and Raquel are pieces of shit. Schwartz, I really wish he would go back to Woodbury.
Yeah,
and
he's a
fall
horrible
into
person.
A hole.
He's
an awful person.
Yeah,
awful.
I do love that they were saying, or Katie was saying, I just want to be treated, if you want to be friends with me, I need to be treated with basic respect and a few other things.
Yeah.
And then he goes, why do I gotta treat you like that?
Yeah.
And she's like, that's what all friendship is, basic respect and whatever. And he goes, what about my feelings?
Yeah.
And I was like, is it that you feel good when you don't treat your friends well? That's just a condition of your friendship? Like, what are you saying? It doesn't make any sense. I also love that Sandoval, when Kennedy, what's his name? Jesus Christ, DJ
James Kennedy.
James Kennedy. Okay, I was right. I just refused to accept that his name is James
JK.
Kennedy. He was trying to pretend to fight with him or something. And then Sandoval's best response was, you've had the same fucking hair for the last 7 years. And then James was like, well, it works for me. Because apparently that insult actually was a genuine insult that actually worked on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, it works for me, fuck you. Horrible people. Well, all right, what should we do next? Should we read the story?
Sure.
December 7th. Okay, Smithy's voice resonated against the concrete walls of the parking garage. A cool breeze wafted through the breeze blocks, caressing the faces of the heistlets. Made up a word. Lucretia and Charles were at attention, hanging on to the echo of Smithy's call to attention. Mateo was picking his nose. Smithy unraveled a scroll and flicked it masterfully, like she was the town crier in a Roman city. These are the blueprints. These are the blueprints, Mateo was mocking. It's written with every other being a capital, so I'm supposed to say it that way. Mateo was mocking Smithy from behind a cement pillar. Smithy's nipples scowled. He brought the nipples back. Here are the entrances to the Twirling Lady Bar. We have the front door, 3 high-set non-egress windows, and a side door hidden within a pantry. The side door is locked with a key that Tom York had made special for the bar. The key made special for the bar. Aren't all keys made special? I read part of this when you were writing it, so I'm familiar with some of this, but I didn't catch that last time. Charles, I need you to find a way to steal it. Charles nodded sternly. You may need Mateo's help. He could phase through walls to obtain the key for you. Charles scowled. I've already proven myself to be a master thief. I can do it alone. You're a pretty boy who has money. I wouldn't call you a master thief. Mateo finally found what he had been looking for in his phantasmic nostril and flicked it towards Charles. Once you have the key, we can make a copy. Meanwhile, Lucretia will climb a nearby tree and install a zip line down the windows. I called a few costume stores, and I put a park ranger costume on hold for you. Lucretia was... I am trying so hard not to burp up meat in the middle of reading this. Lucretia was considering this. Zip line right through the windows without opening them first? Looks cool in the movies, Smithy stated sternly. She didn't like being questioned. Then you'll need to dip beneath the lasers, or else you'll set off the alarm. Lucretia dramatically kicked a long leg to the sky, reinvigorated by the thought of dipping beneath the lasers. Meanwhile, I'll be entering through the side door. We'll open up with the key dressed as a security guard, and I'll make my way to the bar where the cash register is on the weighted alarm system, and I'll quickly swap the register with something of equal weight. Aren't those registers really heavy? Lucretia's leg quivered with doubt. Smithy's egg musk was thickening. It works in the movies, Smithy muttered through gritted teeth. Why are we planning to enter through the windows if we're getting the key to the bar? Can't we just walk through the door? Charles was confused. There's a camera pointed at the door from behind the bar. Our best bet is to enter through the windows. Smithy was smelling eggy now. Wait, then, why are we getting this key? This was less of a question for the group and more of an expression of Charles' worst fear. He didn't like being out of the loop. What are we even stealing? Just the register? Mateo was chiming in now, reluctantly. He didn't like being on the same side as Charles. I want the whole bar. I want Tom York to rue the day he ever kicked me out. Bethany was crumpling the blueprints in her hands now. I'm special, damn it. The egg smell was overpowering. Lucretia's eyes were watering and Charles was vomiting. Smithy took a deep breath and relaxed her fingers. The blueprints were crispy where her fingers sunk into the paper. Charles wiped his mouth. Of course you are, sweetie. Overcomplicated plans are the hallmark of an idiot. Mateo was squatting and building a little tower out of trash. Silence, ghost! Charles was tired of hearing Mateo speak. You're only here because your kind is non-corporeal. My kind? Mateo was indignant. My dad's electrical bills are sky high because your kind is always hanging around and sucking up all the energy. There must be dozens of you hanging around, bumming our kilowatts. Mateo was dumbfounded. I thought Bethany was the ringleader of this simpleton circus. I'm not an idiot, you pretentious phantom. Smithy was enraged. What are the rest of you getting out of this? What happens if you sell the bar? Split the money? What's the payoff? The witchery Smithy's nipples had over Mateo was diminishing. You don't know the pain we live with, Smithy shouted dramatically while stomping her foot. Our lives are hard. Do you know what's hard? Dying a virgin and living eternally, forced to rely on the dredges of society for companionship. Oh, stop blaming non-ghosts for all your problems. You died like 400 years ago. It's all on you now. Charles crossed his arms and fully turned his back to Mateo like a fucking child. I wasn't prepared for that. This is the part I definitely haven't read. My dad never let me do sports. Lucretia, is not reading the room, joined in as if this was group therapy. It shocked Mateo so much that he halted his attack on Charles's back. Bethany, experiencing FOMO, blurted out, I'm an orphan and I have no talent. Well, we already knew that. Mateo retrieved a cup of cold nacho cheese from his ghost pocket and launched it at Smithy. He just has a cup of cold nacho cheese.
It's a callback from the first chapter.
I suppose, but that's been a while he's been holding on to that. Smithy dodged the cup narrowly, but at the expense of a skinned knee and a torn fishnet stockings. The parking garage was quiet now, with the heisters contemplating the choices in their lives that had led them here. Smithy let out a primal scream and launched herself at Mateo. To both of their surprise, she made contact, and they launched over the low cement wall of the ramp, tumbling into the bushes below. Ooh, got a little dizzy. I think I'm not breathing very much as I'm reading. I'll cut this part out. Lucretia and Charles rushed to the wall to see what had become of Smithy and Mateo. To their horror, they could see Smithy's open mouth through Mateo's mostly translucent head. And as they rushed down the ramps, they could catch the sound of Smithy's groans of pain. While Lucretia and Charles scurried down each ramp of the parking garage, rather than taking the stairs, Mateo and Smithy were scurrying to learn each other's bodies. Their heightened emotions needed release, and Mateo's form felt like a pleasant mist on Smithy's hot, flustered body. May I enter you? Mateo asked, seeking consent. Smithy gave enthusiastic consent. Oh, she reached to remove her top, but there was no need. Mateo's ghostly hands phased through the fabric to cup her frenzied breasts. Her nipple reached up to meet him like a worm on a rainy day searching for water. But Mateo's hand didn't stop there. He proceeded to fondle her mammary glands, stroking her ducts with a spectral finger. It felt like a million tiny orgasms were spreading across Smithy's chest. Mateo wiped nacho cheese off his other hand on the bush that they were tangled in and got to work stroking her pelvis. Smithy had never been entered like this before. The intimacy drove her wild. Mateo was slapping his hand around her guts, teasing her before making his way to her womb. Ah, the womb. The woman's sexual organ. What the hell is that in there for?
I just wanted to hear you say it out loud. I wrote it the way you speak.
Oh my god. Just for no reason that there's just that, the wound section. Mateo was less nervous than he thought he might be, given that he was close to losing his virginity. He located her womb and launched his phantasmic phallus in the direction of Smithy's womb and allowed himself to be overcome by the spongy sensation. That's not attractive. He was not going to last long, especially with Smithy repeatedly orgasming with his continued attention toward her ducts. The ectoplasm was building. May I please put it on your face? Mateo asked. Avoid my hair, Smithy gasped. Mateo removed his lower half from Smithy's lower half and aimed towards her hips, ejaculating his non-Newtonian spunk across Smithy's face. As they lay in the bush recovering, they could hear the echo of Charles and Lucretia continuing to run down the ramps toward them. Smithy went to wipe the ectoplasm off her face, but Mateo stopped her. Allow me, my lady. Mateo touched the spunk, reabsorbing the fluid back into his body. I always reabsorb my effluent. I need it to stay virile. Is it made of ... you? Is it a piece of you? Smithy asked, relieved to be unmarred by body fluid, but slightly alarmed by the implication of what she had just seen. Well, yes, I don't produce body fluids as I'm a ghost, but in my many decades of masturbating, I found that I missed the greatest gift that a man can provide, the money shot. Mateo stated this proudly with his entire ghost chest. Smithy stared at the sky and considered her life choices. That was amazing. That was really good. Here you thought you had writer's block. You're doing fine.
I decided to make that sex scene as disgusting as possible.
You did a very good job.
Thank you. I tried to use the word womb as much as possible because everyone knows that's the sexiest word. And
a woman's sexual organ. Oh, that's amazing.
There we are.
Nice work.
Okay, so I already started to outline what we had originally set out to do. Do you have any questions about that?
Me? No.
Okay. What about you, listeners?
I know, that's who I thought you were talking to.
How would they answer me? Okay, so it's day 8 of Hanukkah. It's the final day of Hanukkah.
Okay, so what's supposed to happen? They are supposed to steal the bar.
Yeah, so now it's heist time.
It's heist time. We agreed that basically, didn't we have... No, I'm trying to remember where we left off. It's been such a long time since I last read this, the previous chapter. We're supposed to be picking up where we're skipping over so much of the heist-related stuff, and that they're just going to steal it.
Yeah, they never actually make a plan, so we're not going to go through that. We are just going to skip right to the heist.
Okay. And the heist, we were previously, when we're all get the meat sweats, we were talking about how they were going to basically just hook up the trailer to a truck or something.
Do we want Tom York to be mad that they're interrupting the final day of Hanukkah?
We could we could finally mention Hanukkah at some point.
Or are we going to make it an alternate reality?
No, let's mention Hanukkah at some point.
Okay. Then there's going to be a really cool Krav Maga fight scene.
There is?
Yep.
How does he catch them? Do they go... I forgot, because in the previous chapter that I had read, that everyone just got done listening to, but now I don't remember anything of, was that... Didn't they try to break in? Or they were talking about breaking in using, like, zip lines and stuff?
Yeah.
But then they decided against all that, right? And so now they're standing out there at night, getting ready to steal this thing?
Yeah, just after sundown.
Okay, and so...
Because that's when...
I think this is where we got stuck last time. If they're gonna steal it, what is it that they do? It takes them so long to try and steal it that Tom York catches them in the morning when he's going in to open up the bar.
No, not in the morning. So it's just after sundown because that's when the day of Hanukkah starts.
Okay.
Okay. And then they're going to go hook up the trailer to the truck. They think they're doing it in the cover of night, but it's actually the most inconvenient time to do it because that's when Tom York is celebrating Hanukkah.
Okay.
So they go to hook up the trailer. They have a cool Krav Maga fight scene during which Smithy's demon powers come to light.
Oh, that's right.
They're activated. So we have to decide. We kind of have to make a decision here. Does she want to go through with the heist once she becomes a demon, or does she fuck off to be a demon and leave them all to just kind of...
We did talk about that. There's comedic benefit to her saying whatever her skill is that pops out, besides smelling like eggs, whatever her skill is where she wins the Krav Maga fight, then she'd be like, holy shit, I can do this. And then maybe she does it a few more times, and then she's just like, oh, I guess I'm not doing this anymore, and just takes to the sky.
Yeah.
Or goes down to hell. One of the two.
Her thing is that she's a demon.
Yeah, so whatever her skill is, demon skill, like she can burn fire out of her eyes or something. She's like, oh my god, I can't believe I can do that. And everyone's like, oh my god, that's so cool. And she's like, yeah, and then she does it a few more times, like burns down some trees or whatever. And then just goes, well, and then just goes down to the ground.
Fuck
just,
you guys.
Just leaves them there, and that's like the end of the story.
Perfection.
we're so ready to be done with this.
Okay.
We should maybe throw in a little something with Mateo, because if we do this again in the future, we're creating the Mateo-verse.
Does Mateo want to go with her? And she says, no thanks. Or does she take him with her?
Maybe she takes him with her because she does enjoy what he offers.
Yes.
Sexually. And then the next thing we would write, if it's after this time period, would be him complaining about how lame hell is or something like that.
That would be really funny to come back to.
Yeah. So we could do something like that. He goes with her, and turns out the relationship didn't work out. There's a lot of hot guys in hell. That actually just aren't ghosts.
A lot of hot demons.
Mm-hmm. Demons like, they can take real shits. I can't. If I take a poop, she wouldn't even notice. If those guys poop, oh God, she gets so upset. That's what a woman wants.
A man who can produce.
A guy who can produce. Well, that's the shortest episode ever.
Is it?
Kind of. Yeah, but that's fine. We got to wrap this goddamn thing up. So next episode, you're going to finish writing this last chapter. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read it, and then we'll talk about what it's like to write books. And then that'll be the final episode of that book.
We're not going to talk about what it's like to write books.
Why not? You can't talk about how rewarding it is? How your mom read your last one, The Baddie for Hattie, and cried. Said, I always knew you'd do this. Like, you'd be so good at it. And then you guys held each other.
I think she would cry for a different reason. I think she'd go, Gertie, you were so good at creative writing when you were in high school, and I really thought that you were going to do something with it, but not like this. Gertie, why do you embarrass me like this? I can't show this to my sister. You want me to show this to your aunt?
I like that she's got the one you did in 8th grade that was about the time your mom took you to a lake. Remember this one? This was a good one. Now this one made me feel good when I read it. You Baddie for Hattie, I did not feel good reading it.
I did not feel good.
You like poking her in her hips. What about your crotch? Did you feel anything in the crotch? And your mom's like, no, I didn't feel anything in the crotch.
No, in the words of my mother, that's closed for business.
Oh, closed for business?
I think we talked about it last. It must be cut now because we restarted the episode.
Yeah.
But I was teasing my dad that Robert De Niro just had a kid. I was like, "Where's my sibling?"
Yeah.
And he just sent back a lot of laughing emojis, and then I got a very indignant text from my mom who said, "No, I've hit menopause. It's all over. It's done. Nothing for you. Nothing.
Nothing for you."
And I said, "Okay, Mom."
That's hilarious. My mom used to say when she got remarried, we would be like, are you having sex again? Now that you got like a new marriage and everything? And then mom just, this is what my mom said to my sister. She goes, no, that thing's sealed up like a pierced ear a long time ago.
Oh, she's so cute.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, all right, I guess we're done now.
Oh, I have another old lady banging story.
Oh, Christ.
I have a client who, she said there's a guy in her building who they'll have dinner together and do this and that.
Oh, you've told me about this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she's like, he likes to think of me as his girlfriend. He wants to be my boyfriend. And I guess I'm fine with that. My husband died and I loved him. I loved him so much. And luckily, this new guy had prostate cancer, so he can't get an erection. And I am just so grateful because I never thought I'd want to stop having sex, but I'm at that point where I just don't want to have sex. And I don't have to. And I said, okay, you go, girl. You go.
How old is she roughly?
Oh, I don't know. She's got to be in her late 70s.
Late 70s.
Yeah, I'd have to go look. She has beautiful skin. It's possible that she's older and just doesn't look it. But it's just one of those things. Like when I'm filling your pillbox, I'm just nodding. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was filling her pillbox while she was telling me this.
Oh.
Yeah, just total casual conversation. Maybe I look old enough that women also think that my vulva has sealed over, like an earring, an earlobe that you took an earring out of.
Well, I don't know. There's so many questions about that. I have a family member who's very old who tried to get me to buy them Viagra under my name. And I was like, I'm not doing that for you. You are in your mid-70s, sir. Why? Can't you just be done? And he's like, oh, no, you can't be done. And I'm like, I'd like to think at some point in life you can be done with that horse shit. And he's like, no, it keeps going. It keeps going for a long time. I don't like the idea of like being somebody that works at a senior citizen center or anything like that, and you walk in, there's just two old people having wrinkle sex.
That happens.
That's gross.
Oh, that recently happened at the building I used to work at.
Really?
Yeah, for short 5 months, was it?
Yeah.
But they caught two of the memory care residents in bed. One of them was our local sex pest, and then the other one just had dementia, and she thought every man in there was her husband.
Oh, that's so not cool. That's sad and also horrible.
Yeah, but I mean, it was consensual because she thought it was her husband.
Technically consensual, but not really.
They taught us that if two old people are getting it on, you assess to make sure they're safe and then allow them privacy.
Oh, assess to make sure they're safe, like this is consensual.
Like no one's going to fall and hurt themselves.
That's what I thought maybe you were going to say, like you take their pulse, you're like, okay, let me put the bed rails up.
Yeah. Let me make sure the bed is all the way to the floor. So if you roll out, you don't have to fall too far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Can I get either of you a glass of water? Hydration is very important at your age.
I like as you're walking out the door, you just wink like, you kids don't have too much fun. You turn on the humidifier and close the door.
Make sure you urinate after sex. It helps reduce risk of UTI.
You want to clean those pipes. That is so weird.
What are you going to do? It's kind of just the nature of the situation.
I guess.
People like to bang.
When my dad used to have to take me to go see my great-grandma in an old folks home, he would go in there and we'd go in the elevator together, and he kind of pushed me to the back of the elevator, so I'm kind of in the corner. But as we were walking in, if there was old women in the elevator, they would flat out pinch his ass. I saw it once. Later on, I asked him about it. He's like, oh, no, every single time I got it. If there was a woman there, she would just pinch my butt and then giggle, which is why I always pushed you to the corner so I could turn around and put my back against you. So it's like, for one, nothing's happening to you because I don't know what these people are capable of. But also for two, I don't want to get my ass pinched.
By some horny, lonely old ladies.
Yeah, exactly. They just, there's no filter with them. They do not give a shit.
No, total menaces.
Yeah. Which is adorable when they're old, but if they were like in their 30s, then it's just terrifying. And they should be arrested.
Yeah, if I went around just pinching butts.
Yeah, giggling at the grocery store.
Well, that's what I do to you, but you're my husband, so.
I know, you do it at Target when
it.
There's actually people around. You just sit there and pat my butt and just keep patting. And
I like touching your butt.
People with their children walking by and you're still patting it.
That's fine.
No, it's not.
It's totally normal and okay.
Let's wrap up this shit show.
I had a resident. She was old, and she wouldn't. By old, I mean she was like in her 80s. Mm-hmm. She didn't like to change her briefs.
Ooh.
And if she did, she would take them off and like leave them out to try to dry them, and then try to rewear them. And she would tell me about how one of her ex-husbands, because she had several, gave her chlamydia, maybe, or gonorrhea, one or the other.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, to anyone who would listen, like strangers who come through the door, she'd sit right in front. You could walk right in, and on one side was the receptionist desk, and then there were these chairs. And she and her best friend They were frenemies. They would sit together.
Yeah.
And anyone who walked by, she'd want to tell them either a sexually explicit joke or that her husband gave her an STD at one point.
Does she know how bad it is that her husband gave her an STD?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's saying, like, is my husband a jerk? He gave me an STD because he cheated on me.
Yeah, I think it was self-effacing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I appreciate, but we're all just trying to do our jobs.
I know. I would imagine when I'm that old, I would just want to sleep a lot and not really talk to a lot of people. I'd be too tired.
We had those too.
No, really?
Yeah.
I would hate to think that I'm going to be so uppity that I'll be like, yeah, let me pinch your crotch. Did you want to hear about the time that I pinched my penis in a car door or whatever? I don't know what the stories would be.
Yeah. No, when I'm old, I think I'm just going to crop dust everywhere.
Yeah. That's
My
what you do
butthole's going to
already.
be so loose that the farts are just going to fall right out. So I'm going to walk with my little walker, just tooting the whole time.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to see my big diaper under my pants,
Yeah.
and my little bike shorts.
Like all those people at the restaurant we saw last night.
Yeah.
Went to a fancy restaurant where we thought it was going to be fancy. It wasn't that fancy. I think they'd want to be. Their food was more expensive than it should have been. But it was filled with old people that literally were using walkers. I saw at least 3 walkers for sure. And just a lot of people walking on their own that look like they're going to fall over and stuff. And I don't know. There was like one young couple with Cool Dad. The guy with long hair. He's got the weird, like, loud shirt. It's kind of unbuttoned a little too far down. Didn't seem to really want to interact with his kids or his wife. He was too busy being on the phone. I'm like, oh, that's a real cool dad. But all these old people kept coming up to that family and talking to them. So we were like, is there a church function that happened on a Thursday night? What the hell's going on?
Why do all these people know each other? Did they plan to come here?
Yeah, it was weird.
Everyone knew each other,
I
except
know,
for us.
but there was a lot of diapers. I saw some puffy hips on some guys walking around with their little slacks.
Saw some little dipes.
Little dipes, little walkers.
Yeah.
It's going to be you.
That's going to be me.
You're going to be staring at people like you did last night. You're going to be staring at other people's meals, being like, ooh, what's that? Then you ask the waitress, what is that they're eating over there? And you go,
if I'm doing it now, I'm probably going to do it in 50 years.
just more gas.
Same amount of gas, just with more reckless abandon, if that's possible.
Yeah.
I fart whenever I can, all the time.
Yeah.
But it's going to be even worse in public. Watch out, friends.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm farting.
Boobs will be real long.
They're going to be so long. They're already long.
I'm going to have the thing where someone's going to be like, that old guy over there is wearing real thin pants. I'm like, yeah, like, what's that kind of lump underneath the side of his leg? And it's like, yeah, it is kind of more lumpy than, it's not a pocket. What is that? Like, maybe it's like a big, like, tumor? Like, no, it's been shifting around as he shifts around in his diapers. And they're going to realize I'm sitting on my own long yak nuts that are under one butt cheek and kind of popping out the side of my leg. It's still covered by pants.
It's like when you squeeze a stress ball.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's just going to be so sad.
Aging.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's already fun.
Is it already fun?
Yeah, it's fine.
I was peeing in the sink. None of this is staying in the show. I was peeing in the sink earlier, and all of a sudden you decide you want to take your finger and rub it along my taint to get it to all come flying out.
That's how you get out the extra pee that's hanging out in your urethra.
I refuse to ever use that technique.
Oh, maybe you will one day if you have prostate problems.
I don't. Ugh.
Maybe you will.
All right, we're done now. The end of the episode.
Thanks, listeners.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you
Bye.
next time. Bye. Want to contact us? Don't. This isn't about you. But if you have to, my email is glenn.nuzzles, Nuzzles, @gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter, @HouseNuzzle. But don't bother us, because we're too busy working.